Hello, my friend. Do you actually trust yourself? That's a very good question. To what extent do you trust yourself? Do you trust yourself to do what you set out to do? Do you trust yourself to keep your promises to yourself? When you get up in the morning and you say, I want to accomplish this, that, and the other, your little list for the day. Do you trust yourself to actually do that? Or do you already know as you start that you won't do all of that? And if that is the case, which I know is the case for many people, why do you keep promising yourself things and then breaking your promises? Ask yourself what is going wrong there, what you need to adjust. You need to promise less. And maybe even expect less of yourself. You're clearly putting too much pressure behind yourself and then kind of rebelling against yourself by not doing it. So you have this kind of relationship to yourself that you had to your parents. You say, oh yes, I will do all this. And then you dawdle and you shirk your work and you do things that please you, but you pretend that you're not doing them. And at the end of the day, you have not achieved the goals that you set yourself, or the things that you really needed to do, or the things that you promised to yourself. And then you end up hating yourself, or looking down on yourself, or thinking of yourself as feeble or weak or unreliable or lacking in will. None of that is true. What you're really doing is not listening to yourself properly. You're not in a relationship with yourself in which you can build trust. Building trust is to listen to each other and to make arrangements that are realistic and that you can support each other with. The same is true for yourself. So listen to yourself and ask yourself what you really want to do. And when you hear yourself thinking, oh, I would enjoy having, a little walk instead of just sitting down to work, have a little walk. Say to yourself, yes, let's have a walk. And have a walk and enjoy it. And then sit down and do just a little bit of one of the tasks you really need to do. And you will get absorbed in it because you have given yourself something good. You're creating a relationship of trust with yourself, and so you will be doing it. There will be no motivation to get out of it. You'll want to do it, especially if there's something else you're going to do after that that will also be pleasant and welcome and that you can put all of your energy into. You might want to listen to some music or make some music. Or you might want to read a book for a bit. Well, again, listen to yourself. How much of that book do you actually want to read? Or how much time would you like to actually be listening to music? It's probably longer than you would allocate yourself to have. Well, maybe you need to think about this again. Maybe you need to foreground some of these good things and give yourself this attention and this welcoming respite and this space in your life to actually be at one with yourself and be at ease with yourself. Because when you start to trust yourself to create a good life for you, you will also feel able to do some of the more difficult things, which will stop being things you resent and will start to become things that you also want to do, because you can see that they are good for you and they lead to things. If you do your job well, your job will pay dividends for you. And you will also get better at it and you'll start to enjoy it more. And basically, you start to own your life and you start to be at one with yourself and at ease with the daily existence that is yours. But that takes an act of love towards yourself, an act of attention, an act of care. So learn to listen to yourself and learn to arrange the day in such a way that you can look forward to it and that you can be at peace with it and that you can learn to trust yourself to do right by yourself. To do right by yourself rather than skiving, to do right by yourself rather than pushing yourself too hard all the time. Be good to yourself and build a life around self-trust. Be well, my friend, because with self-trust you will also begin to recognize if you can trust other people. But I'll talk about that too.